Welcome back to tutorial number 3 on how to build the 12 by 12 wedding anniversary album using Prima's Poetic Rose paper collection that I designed for Country Craft Creations. So in this video we're going to start working on our base pages, the flaps for the base pages, and the pocket sleeves. Now because this is such a big album, it's going to be done a little bit different than what you're probably used to. This is the base pages. They will end up being 11.5 by 11.5. So you do cut that, but I want a bigger, I feel we need a bigger hinge than just a 1/2 inch. So instead of scoring the page, the base page, to make a hinge, we're going to add on a hinge. So you also will need strips for your hinges. So we're going to start off with, we're going to do 4 base pages for this album, and you need 4 11.5 by 11.5. And you need 4 1.5 by 11.5. So go ahead and we'll start getting those cut. And then also for the assembly of the pages, we're going to need pocket sleeves. Now this is different also. You're going to want 4 that are 11.5 by 12. And instead of adding hinges, so that I don't have hinges hindering the sliding in and out of pocket sleeves, or tags, I mean, photo mats, I'm going to make it out of this 12 by 11.5 by 12. Now we're going to score a very narrow hinge on this 12-inch side. We only can score 1/4 inch on each side, so I'll show you that. If you're not comfortable with a 1/4 inch hinge, then you can make 1/2 inch hinges by cutting a 1-inch strip out of cardstock that is 11.5 long. So I'm going to show you those, and then also we're going to make full flaps. Now we're able to cut these out of the paper. You need 4 that are 11.5 by 11.75, and we're going to score, give it a 1/2 inch hinge on that. So that's fine for the flaps. So let's get started with this. So first, let's go ahead and get your scoreboard, and we're going to work on the hinges first for the base pages. So these again are 1.5 by 11.5. So you're going to score all 4 at 3/4 inch on the 1.5 inch side. So that's scoring them right in half to create the page hinges. So we're going to do that on all 4. And you don't do any scoring on the base page pieces that you cut, which are 11.5 by 11.5. That is the actual full size of the pages, of the base pages that we're going to put in our album. Okay, so we got those, set those aside. Then grab your full flaps. These are your 11.5 by 11.75. You have 4 of those. And you're going to score the 11.75 side at a 1/2 inch. And you're going to do that on all 4. Just make sure that you're scoring the 11.75 side at a 1/2 inch. Next, we're going to work on the pocket sleeves. Now, these are the ones that are a little bit different because of the size. I don't have enough space to do a full 1/2 inch. Don't have enough size of paper. So for pocket sleeves, I am going to score my 12-inch side, the 12 inch at the top. I'm going to score it at a 1/4 inch. I'm going to have a 1/4 inch hinge to attach this to the page. Turn it 12 inches still at the top and score another 1/4 inch. If you're uncomfortable with these narrow hinges, then you will have to make 1-inch hinges that are scored at a 1/2 inch to attach this into your book. So that's what I'm going to do on mine. A 1/4 inch on each side with the 12 inch in at the top. And you do have 4 of these also. Okay, we can put up our scoreboard now, and we're ready to put the pages together. Take your 4 base pages that are 11.5 by 11.5, and your 4 11.5 by 1.5 inch that you've already scored, and we're going to fold and burnish the score line. Give it a really good burnish there. Sometimes I like to do it both, refold the other way and score it again to make sure that it's going to fold back and forth good. So burnish really well on all 4 of these before we attach them to the pages. Now I will say that I have never had problems with any cracking or tearing of my hinges using artisan cardstock. It's a real sturdy 80-pound linen cardstock. If you don't have this, you may have some problems if you're using lesser weight or even different brands of cardstock. So I can't say how sturdy the hinges will be if you're not using artisan. If you are concerned about that, then I would suggest that on this fold line that you take some, I'm not putting it on mine, I like to use the Scotch matte finish gift wrap tape, and this is the narrow size that you can, I'll just take off a piece, you would do a whole length, but you would put tape on at least one side of your hinge to give it added protection. I don't feel that I need that with my artisan cardstock, but if you feel like your cardstock is not that strong, or if it tends to crack when you score it and burnish it on the fold lines, then you might want to consider doing that. Okay, so we've got these ready to attach to the base pages. So go ahead and take one of your pages. These are square, it doesn't matter which side. They're all the same, 11.5 by 11.5. Use score tape if you wish, or your art glitter glue. And you're just going to attach 1/2 of this hinge to one side, one edge of the page. You're going to put the fold line right along the cut line. So the fold line of the hinge right along the cut line of the page. Get it as straight and even as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and put my glue on. And then we're going to line this up. I'm going to make sure it starts right at the same edge on the end, and that fold lines up with the cut edge of your page. So just turn it over and check it, then burnish it. And we now have a hinge on one of the pages. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do the same to the other 3. Have all 4 base pages with the hinges on. So we'll set those aside and grab our 4 pocket sleeves that are already scored. These are 11.5 by 12, and we scored the 12-inch side at 1/4 inch on each end. So you're going to need to really fold and burnish these little 1/4 inch pieces here. So I'm just folding it back. They're very, 1/4 inch is pretty narrow, but it will work, and it also does not take up a lot of your space for your insert that you want to put in your page sleeves. So I'm going to fold on both sides and then burnish. And this is what attaches down onto your page, the sleeve. So I'm going to do all 4 of those. Okay, so we have the 4 page sleeves ready. And now we need our full flaps. We have 4 that we cut 11.5 by 11.75. We scored the 11.75 side at a 1/2 inch on each one. So we're just going to fold that score line and burnish it and get it ready to go on the base page. So these are all assembled the same as far as the basic construction of our flaps, our page sleeves, and our hinges for our base page. So do all 4 of these the same way. And as soon as we get these put together, we'll be putting them into our album. Okay, to attach these page sleeves to your base page, you grab the one that has the 3/4 inch hinge and this sleeve that has the 1/4 inch, 2 of them, and turn this so that you see where the seam is here on your page. We're going to attach this on the inside here. Now you want to make sure that you're attaching it evenly on the bottom edge and the outer edges here. And then it should fit right in here and not be over the fold line. So I'm going to use glue on this little 1/4 inch space. A little line of glue. I'm going to do one at a time because I just think it's easier that way. So I'm going to put it on this top one right up here. So like I said, we line it up on the corner here and across the top. Make sure they're lined up. And go ahead and burnish that. Just going to double check and make sure that they're not extending over anywhere they shouldn't be. And then this bottom one should come on and fit right along the other edge. So I'm going to lift this up, and you can burnish this here on the inside on this one. So put your glue on the other flap of the 1/4 inch. And bring it down, and it should just fall and match up these corners here really good. So it's straight here and all the way across here. Okay, now then this is our sleeve. We want it open on the end opposite of the hinge. And I do want to go ahead and seal this on the hinge side. So just a thin line of glue, not on your fold line, but on the page. Just a thin line on the page underneath this. Press it down and burnish it shut. Later we will cut large mats that go inside each sleeve. And you can put more than one if you want to for extra photos. So right in here. Okay, and then I'm going to fold this again and reburnish this hinge. Okay, that is one page with the sleeve on. So I'm going to do the other 3 the exact same way. Okay, I almost forgot on the full flaps, the ones with just the single 1/2 inch that we scored, put these back in. These are at 11 3/4. We need to score at 3/4 also to give us a 1/4 inch gusset. So I forgot to have you score that. It's real important. So the full flap ones that we cut at 11 1/2 by 11 3/4, we're scoring the 11 3/4 inch side at a 1/2 inch and at 3/4. So I'm going to go back and rescore on each one of these. Just open it up, make sure you open it up, line it back in so it's 11 3/4, and then put a score at the 3/4 inch mark. So that gives us a 1/2 inch space for the hinge and a 1/4 inch for like a gusset. We're going to do that on all 4 of these that have not been attached yet into the album page. So that's a good thing. So we're going to score 3/4 inch here, and I have one more. And then I want you to go ahead and burnish, fold and burnish that this second score, this 3/4 inch score that we just made. Glad I noticed that before I started gluing it to the page, because they wouldn't have fit quite right. Okay, so now they're ready. We have all our pages, our base pages, and our flaps. Now the way these are going to go in your book is your hinge is going to go. You're going to have a fold line on the left side here. The hinge will be on the back, okay, on all 4. For your full page flaps, we will have 2 pages with it on the front and 2 pages with it on the back. So I've got the first one here. I'm going to show you. So I have my hinge folded under here on the left. If you get these on the wrong side, your book will just be a little bit different. It's not going to be the end of the world, so don't fret about that too terribly much. To put this on, we want glue on just the 1/2 inch. So I had these flattened like this, but you want to make sure that you flatten it so you just see the 1/2 inch. So flatten that with the 1/4 inch score line on one side, the 1/2 inch on this side, to make sure that these go on right. So you just see the 1/2 inch. Take your glue, and we're going to put glue on this 1/2 inch only, all the way down. You can use score tape too if you're more comfortable with that. I'm just getting to where I use the glue mostly. I'm going to turn this so I can see it better, and we're going to line this up exactly right there on the left edge, right along that cut edge of the page. This is opposite of where your hinge is. So you're going to burnish that down. Let's double check it and make sure it's on both sides correctly. Now you're ready to burnish it. Open it up, burnish the inside hinge here, and this gives us a full flap on the front of our first page with the hinge going to the back. So it flips up this way when we put it in the book. I'm going to show you how to put one on the back, and then we'll put all 4 in the book. So let me grab the second page. Okay, the second page, like this. I'm going to fold the hinge down, but this time I'm putting it on the right side over here, because this is the back side of this page. 2 of them will put together this way, 2 on the front. So again, flatten this hinge so that you only see the 1/2 inch. I'm going to turn this so I can put it on correctly. So I have my hinge down here. I'm going to attach this here on this side. So put your glue on your 1/2 inch hinge. I'm going to put it on the cut edge of the page, the side that has the sleeve opening right there. Your hinge is down here. I'm going to put this on the back side. So we're going to line this up again right along the edge of the page. Line it up, flatten that down. Let's check the other side to make sure we're good. Let's burnish this. I'm going to open this up, burnish that inside, make sure it really stays stuck down. So you'll put two together this way and one together the other way, so that when this goes in the book, the flap will be on the outside, on the back side. So it's going to go in like that. So there's where your flap is. It's going to go in like that. And there's your flap on the back side opening out. Sometimes we get kind of twisted and turned around here while we're working on these things. But it all works out in the end. So there's two of them. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other two. And I'll be back putting the pages in. Okay, so grab your album cover. Open it up with the inside spine facing up. And I'm just going to take my ruler and put the end along the fold line of this space here, not into the valley. And I'm just going to put a 3/4 inch mark down here and one up here. And I'm going to line this up straight. And it should be, use your ruler to double check your 3/4 from this space. And I'm just going to put a light pencil mark. Not real dark, so that I can erase it. This one's a little too dark, so I'm going to go ahead and erase it now. Okay, especially on this white. Okay, so we want a 3/4 inch space because this first hinge, the fold is going to go right on that line. And we want 3/4. So our album page is going to go in with along the fold line of the hinge. Is going to go along that pencil line. And we want that in as straight as possible. That gives us 3/4 inch space from the hinge of the page to where the album actually folds up. We want a little extra space because we're going to be building up some things here on this page. So I'm going to get my glue. My hinge is folded back. And I'm going to put glue on this. Three-quarter inch hinge here. This is going to help hold it into this book. And the bigger hinge should be able to handle the weight of the pages and the flaps that we add in. So you see where your ridge is from putting this paper, this 11.5 inch paper in the book when we assembled this cover. So that helps you line up the top and the bottom of your page. And make sure you get it along that pencil line. I'm not pressing down yet. I want to make sure it's in straight. And right along that. So that gives you a 1/4 inch at the bottom and a 1/4 inch at the top. So right there. Turn this back so you can see the hinge. And go ahead and burnish that really good. You want this glue to really stick down. Now your edge of your hinge here is going to be where you place the next page. So I've got it burnished in. I just want to make sure I don't want anything to come apart here. So lay that down and take your second page. Not that one. The hinge should open, the flap should open to the back side. Here, the hinge is folded again the same way. And we're going to put it in right there. So let's put the glue on the back side of the hinge. And I want the flap on the back side. So fold this down and line up the hinge edge of this page with the hinge we just put down. There and right there. Open it up. Take a look at it, make sure it's lined up. Mine got a little wrinkle there. Don't want a wrinkle. It's really hard on this white on white to see that line. There we go. Well, I may have to add some more glue in here to make sure it stays down where it belongs. Okay, maybe that's enough. So we really want to spread that glue out. Let this lay down. It should be pretty straight with each other. Take your next page with the flap towards the front here, hinge folded back. So we put the glue on the back side here. I know these can get really confusing sometimes. I even have to look at my notes to make sure that I'm making it the way I intended. But if you get yours in just a little bit different order, that's okay. It's your album. No one will know. And you just go with it the way it turns out. It'll be just fine. Okay. That one went in a little easier, so burnish this one. This is page set 3. Lay down also. Okay, looking good right here. So the last one. Page flap should be to the front or the back. What did I say? To the back. Right here. So my hinge should turn this way. Front, back. Yes, to the back. So it's the flaps to the front, first page, to the back on the second, to the front on the third, and to the back on this one. So, and again, this is just going to line up right there along that last hinge. Right here. Now this leaves us 3/4 of an inch with the hinge space, but an extra space here. So if you wanted to add just a little bit more, another flap, you could certainly do that. But I'm going to have 4 page sets, and then I'm going to cover this with a strip. So there's the pages in the book. And so we'll be ready for our next tutorial video, where we'll start making some of our pockets and adding photo mats and matting the pages.